Yeah, I'm not agreeing to that. We don't record shit in the hood.
What are you talking about, bro?
Can you imagine telling the OGs that and we're gonna record this? I can't have myself on fire, dog. Oh, so nah, nigga, we can't. We can't.
We're real G short to the podcast. Are y'all recording this? Y'all working with the police?
Oh, y'all didn't say that in the briefing. I watch y'all all the time, but y'all didn't say nothing about no recording.
These brothers is recording. They definitely working for the
This is recording. Y'all working for the feds? I got mics. Your mic off for real?
Check him. He's wearing a wire. I'm sure of it.
What's all these wires, dog? It's the plug-in for the computer.
All right, bro. Good to see you, man. Well, I can't see you. Why are you off camera? Oh, you don't want to show up again. You don't want me to use the video.
I'm drinking water, man.
Yeah, bro, you can drink water on camera, bro.
I know, because I'm in my living room now. I'm not in the room. The laptop's on my lap.
Okay.
They shouldn't call it laptop no more, though, should they?
Something just happened to your sound, though. Your sound's got muffled.
Sorry, have I covered the mic? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you covered the mic before. That's good now.
Yeah, I was just saying how they should change the name from laptops now. It's more than that now, isn't it?
I mean, you've literally got it on top of your lap, so I think you're probably the person.
Which is a rare occasion.
You're the only one keeping it called a laptop right now.
No, if you're traveling, I guess it's on your lap, I guess.
I guess that's the point, is the fact that you can use it on top of your lap, as opposed to a desktop which you use on top of your desk.
Yeah. Desktops, man. They used to be a home thing, but I don't know if they're still a home thing. Desktops, unless you're like a CEO or some kind of editor.
Bruh. I mean, I guess to be honest now, if you one of these gaming duns, bruh, have you ever seen the gaming duns with the desktops that have mad lights in them? I don't know what those machines are doing, but
it's the mad screens around them and the headphones, and it's like, damn.
Yeah, man. It's like you playing Mario Kart. You want to feel like you hacked it into the Pentagon, bro. Like, relax, man.
Like, you're playing Mario World and we got all these gadgets going on. It's like, wow.
It's like, what happened?
Because someone who plays games, especially like platform games,
yeah,
get stuck on a mission. You're like, what the hell is going on? And you just go on YouTube and you see like the walkthroughs, and it's crazy how people play the game, comment on it, and people watch. And I'm talking about 500,000 views.
Yeah. For real, I'm talking, bro. Don't let an 8-year-old boy from Japan show you how to really play the game, bro. You be thinking you could play the game till he show you up.
Have you heard the story about the guy who created Mario?
No. What was the story about him?
It's always when art meets money. The money guy saw the potential. He just wanted to make Mario. He didn't really care about money.
Wow.
So the person who's making all the profits is the money guy. But because this kid is happy I created Mario, I'm good, he'll probably eat for the rest of his life. He's not out here, I want to own Sony now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just enjoying the fact that he just loved the characters he created, man.
Mad. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
This guy, that's a businessman's dream. He don't even care about the money.
He's rubbing his hands like Birdman. When Birdman pulls up on the youngers in the hood, he's always pulling out these rappers who just want to make it, bro.
Right. He's like, I didn't even have to bump him. Like, I don't even have to see him off the top.
Bruh, for real, man. I told you, I think I've told you a couple times about the guy who created Tetris. But he lived in communist Russia at the time, so the government took the whole 10 million that the Americans paid for the game, for the license.
Madness.
$10 million, bro.
Madness. For communist Russia,
They distributed him 3 turnips and said, yo, it's good, man, well done.
We're going to put this into schools, hospitals.
Bro.
That's crazy.
Cold world, bro. Cold world.
Is Russia still communist?
What, Russia?
Yeah, elements.
No. They got a proper, supposedly democratic system in which the right guys keep winning, put it that way.
That's the thing, though. You just create the air of freedom.
Of course.
The civil rights movements, for instance.
Yeah.
They were fighting for integration. And at first, that probably scared white people. Like, what? They want to come to our schools? Then one genius white guy was like, let them integrate. We'll just be able to fuck them over even more. And you wouldn't even be able to see it.
Oh, bro, that's painful, man. That is painful.
When black people ever did chime up and say, well, this is wrong. But we integrated you into schools. There's equal opportunity. What's the problem?
Of course, man. That's the real play right there.
It's a real play.
The real play is to let you into the compound, but not the main house. You stay in the
No,
boys' quarters,
no.
bro.
So you're in the compound, you get to drive the car, you
Yeah,
get to see the windows, you
yeah,
get to use the pool, but you don't get to make the decisions on who's making dinner that night. You don't
of
get to make
course,
the decisions on who's distributing the rooms. You don't
of
get to make
course,
decisions on who's paying for the kind of the grass and all of that.
of
So you
course,
start to
bro.
realize there's a ceiling here. I can't get into this. There's a locked room upstairs I can't get into.
That's what I'm saying, bro. At least you still get to say that your address is in VI, bro.
Right.
I live in VI, but
Yeah.
yeah, but you're in the boys' quarters, bro.
Right. And so there's
Yeah,
always levels. It's like, when they say Rihanna's a billionaire, there's
yeah.
billionaire significant, sure she is. Oh,
Bro, when I said baby billionaire on the podcast before, man, you were laughing, but the time is real. Like when you get around billionaires, obviously there's gonna be some that they look at like, hey, you just got here, man. You little baby billionaire, man. I see you with your little toys and that, but you ain't really billionaire like that. Because billionaire at that point, it's not. What's that?
when these millionaire guys are trying to get private jets, and the guy came with, I think he said, I think he had 6 million to
Yeah,
spend. That was his budget. And
yeah.
the guy was like, we can get you a little something. When I heard 6 million, I thought, he's getting the one with the gold rims and the sound system. The way the guy was looking like, so you got 6 million.
Nah, man.
You
Nah,
got this five on you.
they took him to the side that the local pastors go and shop from. They're like, you ain't no Creflo Dollar now.
Imagine you going into the plane showroom. You got 6 million to spend. You go into the plane showroom and they're taking you to the. What about this side, yo, man? Your money don't reach that way. That's where the Arabs go. You see the Arabs sitting down, dog. Come on, man. You got Arab money, and I can't lie to you, man. The 6 million jet he was gonna get, it was the bog standard. And I hate using the word bog standard when we're talking of a private jet. But it was literally the Nissan Micras of the private jets. They didn't give him no extra seats. There was no wood panel. Like, we can give you a little song.
He was like, can you put a little sound system in there or something?
Yeah.
Kinda digging.
You know what I mean? You still have to pay for your fuel. You probably have to pay for your pilot and shit like that.
Yeah.
Arabs with the private jets. You know what? If I had a private jet and I put on next to them Arab niggas, I'll burn my shit.
Bruh.
We had a sand pit in the private jet for the kids.
Yeah.
To play because of the long flights. It looked like, when you go into Harrods,
Yeah.
it looked like that.
Mad.
The showers were, Arabs love luxury and they know how to do it.
Yeah.
It was off the chain.
Yeah.
And then they did the yacht game. The yacht game, Abramovich had the most coveted yacht on the scene. His yacht looked like a battlefield. It looked like a battleship.
I trust that guy, but your money has to be different. You can't earn money that you spend on stuff like that. That has to be money that money's deep money. You know when people say your money's long, there's long money, but then there's deep money. That's deep money right there because you're not paying just to have it. You're paying for a piece of whatever this world is. You're paying for a stake in that to say I am one of those guys now. And not only that, you're paying the maintenance cost of being one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like to run the, there's one gig.
That's on Chelsea though.
Pardon?
He owns Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean that's also one of those things you buy to say like I have a stake.
And by the way, none of these businesses are necessarily profitable. You're not getting money off the yacht unless people are hiring it out or people are partying with you.
You ain't letting nobody get on your yacht. How can man drop you a little 25K, say I want to use your yacht for the night? Nah, what's that 25K gonna do for you? You'd rather say, look, only
people do hire the yacht though.
You mean Roman Abramovich's one?
Yeah, like them Diddies and them cats like that. They hire out the yacht.
Are you serious? Okay.
Yeah, people go on there for like I was on Abramovich's yacht. And sometimes he invites people, like when Chelsea won the Champions League, I think.
Yeah.
Put them on the yacht.
Yes, that makes sense to me. Like you definitely hold it and like use it for the purposes you need to use it for. But for man to be going on Airbnb try to book your yacht,
I don't think. I think people hire it, but I don't think you're coming in with 25K. You have to be a high roller to hire that one.
Of course.
To impress.
Yeah, man.
Some rappers like, yo, can we get that Abramovich yacht? You ain't selling records like that, player. It's your first album. It's your first album.
You know what? Yeah, my heart started jumping at that moment because I thought you were about to make another genuine diss. I thought you were about to be like, "Hey, bro, that's for R. Kelly, man. You
Oh
genuine.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can get the
yeah.
paddle boat, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I
Bro,
can feel a
it's funny
genuine
you
diss
say
coming
that.
on the pod now.
It's funny you say that because on the this is what I need a girl part two
Yeah,
remix with Diddy in that. You see them all on the bikes.
yeah.
None of them knew how to ride the bikes. And this was Genuine saying it. This is we couldn't afford these bike. Diddy pulled up on the bike. We were like, what the hell is this? And it just shows you the levels. Like Diddy's gone from cars now to those bikes because he's seen, you know, in America, you see the wealth. Those rich white people, they have bike clubs.
Yeah,
And so Diddy's probably been around them from an afternoon, you know, where they hired the black guy. We
yeah,
like you, Diddy, you know, do that dance you do when you're on MTV. And he's seen how they're part of the bike club. So he's gonna pick up his own bike and he's bringing that to the hood. But remember, when you're black, you're probably the first person. This nigga's just like, this nigga again with the, you know, the Harley Davidsons tinted out. So they didn't know how to ride those bikes. So it's funny you say that, you know, you want to get, you know, the Abramovich show on your first album. It's like, but what do you know about that, yo? You know what I mean? What do you know about the yo? Because you're gonna get on them and be just as bedazzled as everyone else, you know?
yeah. I mean, to be honest, right? There, like when you're selling luxury, when you're selling any kind of luxury good, the first thing you realize you're not selling the actual product or the thing it is. Like when you're a private jet is not about getting from A to B. It's not
No,
transportation anymore.
no, no,
You know what I'm
no,
saying? Like designer bags are not about carrying things.
no, no,
You know what I'm
no.
saying? Like it's when you're selling luxury, what you're selling is status. You're selling an ideology, an idea. You're selling something very intangible that people are willing to pay for, right? So all in all, the entire luxury industry is about creating things that are out of people's reach, right? And so the whole thing is that certain things you're not supposed to know about, and that's what creates the value. That's why you want it, right? So it's like right now, everyone's posting all these bills from Nusret. That's the Salt Bay guy that sprinkles the salt on the meat, right? And the whole point is we've seen him online. Okay, so he's got enough marketing. We all know his face. We know the meme. But the guy's charging, £650 for a steak, right? That's covered in gold or whatever it is. When you do that, let's be honest, most people are doing it so they can record it, say I was there, I met this guy that I've seen on the internet, and then they can show people, right? 'Cause that's status. He's selling you a bit of like status. I mean, and that's the smartest thing to do because to be honest, in 20 years' time, people might not even care about who this guy is and why he pours salt the same way or whatever. But in that moment, people are willing to pay it. So,
I'm
to
opening
do
for
it.
the trip tomorrow. And so, you know, checking at the theater and just, you know, trying to get my bearings right and everything. So let me see how much he's charging for these tickets. £38, bro.
Wow. Good.
£38.
Yeah.
That's crazy. In Ipswich.
Bruh.
Let's say that place hosts 2,000. That's a good night, bro.
That's a very good night. But I mean, think about how much Chappelle's charging.
But he's only here for like, or how long was Chappelle here for?
A few nights. I'm not sure exactly how many.
Right. Bishop's doing a whole tour
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
this country. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
to America, you know, he's got Ipswich and Colchester and look. I checked the what's going on. Jimmy Carr's there the next week,
Yeah.
and that's how they eat. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not what we have as black comics. Is we would think to go. I'm not putting my show in Ipswich. Who's coming? Unless you've done like not even Live at the Apollo. Unless you're Lenny Henry status, where you've been on British TV for so long. Those neighborhoods are familiar with your voice and your face.
Yeah.
You
I
see
hear
what
you.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's so profitable for them because he's done so. I've seen he's on tour, and it just works so well.
Yeah, I mean that's the way the system's set up here in this country. It's definitely a case of like you can do in the middle, you can do okay. We've got nice clubs that will put on a good comic and people come out for a mixed bill and so on. But when you really want to make that jump towards start making some big money, people have to be invested in you. And
Mm,
and to be honest, the same thing I said about luxury applies here. People buy your ticket so they can say, I went to go and see so and so. It
yeah,
has value, especially if other people can't get hold of that ticket.
yeah.
If they know a bunch of
Like
people,
Kevin Hart did the O2 because people
yeah,
think arenas is the answer for comedy. and you quickly realize, but as a comedian, you have to know what kind of comic you are because you
Hmm.
might not fit an arena.
Yeah.
But people are mad at Kevin Hart saying, "Oh, he's not funny and whatnot." But here's the thing: when you pay that kind of money to go to that kind of venue, what do you think you're going for? Jokes? Well, it was 20,000 people. People had their phones out snapping themselves. It's that energy. You're coming to see the Kevin Hart experience, not
Hmm.
necessarily his stand-up wit, because that's confined to a comedy club.
Yeah, I mean, bruh, this is part of it, man. Like, if it's really about the show, I think the most it goes to is theater. Like, you can get outside the comedy club, you can go to the theater, and it still be about the show. But
Mm.
when you get to an arena, it's about the event, and it's about the merch, and it's about the telling other people that you
Yeah,
managed to get a ticket when they didn't, and
it's
it's
about
about
at the end of the set, get your phones out and take that picture with all the phones highlighted so you can put that on the gram. It's more than just the material.
hmm,
It's funny because I was discussing this with my sister the other day,
yeah,
and some people, it's so funny when you talk to civilians. I call them civilians outside of comedy.
yeah,
It's either yes or no. They're
yeah,
just not funny, and you're like,
mm,
well, that's not true because I can find 10 people who think he is.
yeah,
Right? And I'm only saying 10 because if 10 people think someone's funny, like in terms of a comedian,
yeah,
then it's funny. You just might not be to your taste.
yes, okay,
And when it comes to
yeah,
funny as well, there are levels. Some
mm-hmm,
people are naturally funny. Some
mm-hmm,
people are great writers.
yeah,
Some people are great performers.
yeah,
It's so funny. I was talking to my two-part unconditional love, right?
yeah,
I was ready for MC Hammer. So my
mm-hmm,
brother said, "Did you know he wrote it?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's a Hammer version where Hammer did the lyrics."
yeah.
Bro, goes, "No way." He said, "Yeah, go listen to it." So he listens to it, comes back and goes, "I don't think he got the song because he just kept on rapping, he just kept on going."
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
a testament to, first of all, that's Tupac's mistake because he wrote too good a song for Hammer's style.
Okay, let's not say too good a song. He wrote a song that didn't fit Hammer style, right?
It was too good a song for Hammer. Hammer don't talk about my broken down TV show cartoons in my life. Hammer's like, hit it when I get in it. That's him. So when you write a song with so much substance and so much sauce, he don't know. He ain't feeling it. Bro, it's not
Oh,
kidding him. It's the facts. What I'm
every,
saying is,
every, every artist from the 90s is gonna come and find us for one day.
no, because this is discussing it from an artistic point of view. I was going somewhere with the point. Just
Yeah,
showing you
sure.
how you could be a good rapper. Hammer's a good good for the music Hammer does, which is why I love it. His rap suits it. You feel me? You don't need too much when you're listening to a hit. You don't really we did this with Long Song.
Yeah,
Just one verse,
yeah, yeah,
and the best part of that whole verse is when it goes, "I think I say it again." How lazy was the writings through where it was like, "Yo, man, I'm just gonna say it again, y'all. I ain't really anything else after this. I'm just gonna say it again." She had dumps like a truck. She had dumps like a truck. Guys like what? That's literally Baby Shark level writing. Literally.
I love that. I think I see it again.
Yeah.
When you point out that it's one verse, that
One
that
verse.
line sounds hilarious, bro.
Just one verse. Who's that dress to scandalous? He came in second. So I'm gonna go a tone higher just to get them. I said, "Oh, that dress to that." Oh, you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you now wrote if you look at and R. Kelly's going to jail, so bun him. But he wrote Life, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote another song. Now Maxwell wanted Life.
Okay.
But he said, "Look, you don't look like you've been to prison."
Fair play.
You understand? Why's Casey and JoJo? Them niggas look like they build prisons. And so when he gave it to Casey, temperatures like 100 degrees. You're like, yeah, that nigga been to jail. Whereas Maxwell's too sexy, too sweet with it. So the song Maxwell suited Maxwell's personality. And where I was going with comedy was everybody has something that you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Some people write great many comics have writers. You understand?
Yeah.
Those comics, you put them on stage, they can't pull it off like the person they're writing for.
Yeah. True.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
so when you look at Dave Chappelle, for instance. Kevin Hart. What I was done with Kevin Hart was when you get to a brand like Kevin Hart, of course the writing will suffer. Kevin Hart's not gonna go to the comedy clubs anymore. Number one, there's no point because he will sell it out every single time, and he won't be able to gauge what he's really trying to say.
Yeah.
Love to see you, Kevin. Right?
Yeah.
So he's gonna get his writers. They'll write the good jokes. He'll screen what he likes, perform it, and then hit it to the show.
Yeah.
Because he has a deal that he has to match. The average comic who's searching for himself, grinding them on them comics. That's why the first special always bangs because you're hungry.
Yeah, you usually got 7 years of road testing material. Yeah, of being paid for £50 and a drink, and then
it's almost like a rapper struggle. Where after the third album, I'm in the hood killing niggas. You're like, you are? I thought you moved out. Same as a comic. You become famous now. It's not even about your jokes no more. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you've done a movie, you've done a TV show, you've had an opinion on this. So when you now come as that comic, you've had scandal. It's more than just tell us jokes, Kevin. It's like, I don't like you no more, Kevin. Like, him personally.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, that's one of the downsides of going the everyman route is the fact that you can't be an everyman for the whole of your life. And I think we have some interesting use cases as to how people change. For example, Chappelle's changed over time, and he's kind of embraced the fact that he's rich. And Chris Rock has changed and been very honest about his life as well. But someone like Jerry Seinfeld. If you look at Jerry Seinfeld's first gigs, bro, that guy looks like he was performing as a billionaire from then, bro. He's been talking to everybody like everybody's stupid for the past 20-something years.
He had the suit on in the clubs.
That's what I'm saying. He had the suit on from the beginning. So now when he does stand-up and you get this air of like, I'm better than you and I'm worth $800 million, like, it makes sense. Like, you've been training for this, bro. You're really that guy.
I think also, if you look at Dave Chappelle, it's so funny. He was irrelevant 10, 15 years ago. Nobody was questioning him when he was on a show with Cat Williams in them. Have you ever seen Dave Chappelle on them 4 nigger shows?
Don't call it that because that's too accurate, bro.
I know. But you know what I mean, innit? Chappelle was on the chitlin circuit. Do you know how mad that is? Because he never actually had to do that. But that's the beautiful thing about the chitlin circuit. It gives you a nice grounding because motherfuckers were booing him. He was taking the heat, but we didn't know he was grinding those muscles we have now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let's not forget, because it's so funny. Everybody is talking about Dave Chappelle special. Oh, we say everybody, but if you live in the world of online, everybody's whatever. And I said to myself, Chappelle needs to start charging motherfuckers. I put a special and all of you eat.
Yeah.
Your think pieces. All your interviews, all your things are getting views because I put a special out, You know how powerful that is.
Bro, that's more powerful than being right. If you were correct and you put out another special about how, everybody should just say this and do this and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's really key right there. That's really key is the fact that what's really interesting about this whole situation, this whole setup that we've got now with social justice and online and Twitter and blah, 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 is that, funny enough, it actually incentivizes the same people that it seems to hate or to discredit. So, exactly. And so
all your think pieces, 3 weeks or 4 or months, I guarantee you, none of them will have the amount of hits and rates as the one of Dave Chappelle.
And here's where I was going with that. I find it really interesting because every so often there'll be a discussion online about men and women's relationships and men need to be more like this or whatever it is. But the interesting thing about it is there are a lot of guys online who are like, I'm a male feminist. They'll say, I believe in this, women, blah blah blah, and then there'll be guys who are like just saying what they want to say, and they will be saying stuff that women say is misogynistic, and women will spend 103% of the time talking about the exact guys that they say they don't like, right? Mm-hmm. The guys who like them are constantly like, nah, not all of us, not all men, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, yeah, you're a cool one. And they'll go right back to talk about all of those other dudes again.
Let me kill this nigga here.
So I'm like, yo, you have to ask yourself, right? in that situation, who does she really care about? The woman who's online complaining about this guy. Who does she really care about? Because if she cared about the guys who support her and agree with her and blah blah blah, she would give the majority of her attention to those guys. But she actually cares more about the guys who are disagreeing with her because that's who she gives most of her time and energy to. And I think we really need to start not going by what people say they appreciate and so on. I'm saying let's start going by what people really put their time and effort into. I put my time and effort into watching Chappelle because I genuinely care about comedy and I like his comedy and I like it. I don't have time to go and talk about, you know, some other comic on Netflix who I haven't watched because I don't really care. Do you see what I'm saying? It's natural for me to talk about Chappelle because I actually like Chappelle.
It's like Chris Rock said though. The money ain't in the cure. The money's in the medicine.
Yeah, true.
Nobody wants these problems solved. It's just the money's in the complaining about it.
Yeah, you're right.
Nine now. We need to. The conversation had to be had. Is the conversation ever going to be had? It just has to be had. When?
Do you know what I think is really good because we're opening up a discussion that's been needing to have been had.
Yeah. I mean, it's creating discussions, isn't it? Where? In your little pool holes. It's not a general discussion.
I think the awareness that's being generated here is
awareness.
You know,
people didn't create awareness. How would we know about police brutality? I don't know. It's been going on for 200 years. How aware do we need to be?
Bruh.
Everything is creating awareness. It's like, you really think motherfuckers is walking around? I was so unaware. Thank you for awareing me. Can I go about my business now?
But to be fair to the people who are constantly out here trying to create awareness, I like to make fun of them because it tends to stop there. Like that's when they pat themselves in the back and say, I did my job. But here's the thing. In today's world, there are so many competing messages that attention really is a valuable commodity. No. So if you can grab someone's attention for something, for a particular...
Right there and then, in the heat of the moment. Remember when John Boyer got jumped out and the Black Lives Matter, we just protect black women.
Yeah.
Any updates? You got a plan, nigga? You got a chart we can follow? Since then, what? And black women laughed that. Oh, he must have got his dick sucked from every corner after that. Man. Like gospel. He loves his sisters. I was like, it's just hype. It's just hype. Since then, what? Is there another?
I don't know what
black women protect and follow movement we're subscribing to. It just sounds good. And that's my fear with blackness right now. It's more of a commodity than it is an actual thing. It's as long as you put black behind it, we have to support.
Yeah. It's kind of like how when I was coming up, they did the same thing with gospel music. And it was like they had us buying a whole bunch of trash music and clothes and whatever it was because they put Jesus on it. And then it's like, you can't tell the vendor, nah, man, I don't want that. God, rejected that you can't say you rejected Jesus, man. We put Jesus. You know, you could put anything. You could put, Jesus is my tailor on a t-shirt, and people will be like, yeah, man, have to support that, man. You know, if you're Christian out here, why are you out here wearing all these secular brands? Why are you wearing Nike or whatnot? Why aren't you wearing Jesus is my tailor? You know what I'm saying? Like in that sense of the word, like at least make sure that people actually want what it is you're putting out and actually be good at it. Rather than to just constantly try and corner markets based on identity.
Because the expectation of a black creative is something to do with black. It has to be overriding black. This is for black people, right? No, I'm just writing a story about midgets. But for black midgets, right? No. Just... okay, all right, every midget. Oh, for everyone? Oh, inclusive midgets. Okay. So, as for instance, the person who wrote Squid Games, it's not about Koreans. It reflects society in its vast majority.
Yeah.
Like, creative. Oh, your story has to involve the struggle. My daddy left me. The police is fucking with me. I got too many kids to feed. I'm in the gang.
Nigga, I got kids, man.
You know what I mean? No jobs.
I got baby mama drama, man.
No love stories. There's no, it's what's the word? It's let me some my words. It's sectioned into such a small box of what black people can be.
Yeah, man. And to be honest, you black creators who try to get the funding, like we know we can sense it because people will be throwing it in at the worst time. Like it'll be a normal story, and then it'll be like, man, I gotta open up to you, man. My brother was choked out by the police, man. That's why I don't trust the cops, man. And she's like, yo,
I'm even talking
you
from a
gotta go to the Black Lives Matter rally, you know? It's like, yo, like,
let's
just
look at it from a British point of view. You know, Yardi was made. The Intent 1 and 2 was made, and it's like, you know, there's just no room for, I guess, honesty in black creativity. As in, can you imagine your world, how the world, your world, how our worlds work, which could be highlighted through, what am I trying to say? I'm mixing up words. What I'm trying to say is, when I wrote a story for my friend. I was telling you I was writing a book, and he really loved it. It was really hard, man, trying to write. You know, I like writing screenplays, but when it comes to writing novels,
yeah,
you got to describe the morning. It was a cloudy morning and the birds and the whatever. And he told me not to get caught up in the trap of trying to sound like C.S. Lewis or John Dickerson or the famous Austin Charles. You know what I mean? Because they know in their voice, right? He wanted me to write in my voice and how I saw whatever. And once I heard that, I was able to just go in to a place of things that, you know, the opening line I wrote was "It's close to midnight and something evil's lurking in the dark." It's not actually midnight; it's more close to 8 a.m. and there's no evil lurking. Not after the prayer session me and my family just had. I'm pretty sure my family casted out most of the evil spirits out in East London, and that was a testament to when you wake up in the morning in an African home or Nigerian home or Christian home.
yeah,
that morning prayer.
yeah.
That story there, some people be like this, blah. We were doing the morning prayer stories. One of my friends goes, my mom had the bell. We fell on the floor.
Bruh, when you got the
I passed out.
yo, that bell is your alarm, a musical instrument.
No, but hold on, really? While we in prison, who rings the bell?
Where do you go to buy one right now? If you wanted to buy that bell, where'd you go?
You go to buy the bell, and that I think is what is lacking.
Bruh, no, can we take a moment to deep the fact that certain men were out there in the factory like, come on, man, with the factory line needs to keep going. There are more and more families every day and they need devotion. We need more bells. Discounts on bells. We need more bells in more shops.
Hey, the person used to ring the bell in the church. I used to copy that position. Because I went to a white garment church. And he'll ring the bell and he'll come around and walk down the middle. I used to want that role. I want to ring the bell, man. One time you let me ring the bell.
No.
I was a kid. I didn't know there was a string in the middle, and you had to time it to get the bing, 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 bing.
Of course.
Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. Give me the bell. Just ding, 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 ding. It's all, you know, colonial mixed with African tradition that kind of created those moments.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of wanting to see in terms of creativity. You know?
And yeah, do you know what it is really? It's not just honesty, because a lot of people are gonna say, yeah, this is an honest depiction of what it was like for people in the hood or whatever it is. But do you know what it is? It's giving us our full sense of storytelling, giving us our humanity, giving us you know, more of the idiosyncrasies that make us you know, that draw us together but also make us different. You know, being able to appreciate a core human thing but see it expressed in a different way. All of these elements, these beautiful elements of storytelling kind of get lost in the commercial aspect for us because we're always trying to prove ourselves to somebody. And you know, and you know what, and one of the things I want to say about this is that I want to take this away from the existing industries and so on. There's some part of us, right, that needs to address, and I understand it's difficult. Well, there's a part of us that needs to address the fact that not a lot of us do enough just for the passion, right? Like, just do something because you genuinely love it and appreciate it, and this is your contribution to Earth. I think there's sometimes too much of a push to try and monetize everything. So, like, whenever, you know, one of the ways that I see this is like, you ever watch like those crime shows where they're trying to solve a very specific murder, and then it's like in order for them to to find it. Like they found a button at the scene, and then they're like, we go to the state's most coveted button collector, and he was able to tell us that this button was actually stopped being manufactured in 1985, but it was on the original Wrangler gene or whatever it is. Now that guy hasn't like tried to make this a business or whatever. He loves buttons, right? My guy's collected, and the police are able to utilize him as an asset because of his passion, right? I'm saying for us to be able to do things that aren't always commercially viable, we need more and more people who are willing to work for the love and to enjoy. And
I believe people do. I just believe that's not celebrity life. No one films. Hey, you watch the crime channel a lot. I've seen the ballistic guy when he shoots the gun into the water.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. How he matches the bullet.
Yeah. No, but it's a paid job. That one's a paid job, though. You know, you can understand.
It's a paid job, but definitely a passion. Because who gives a shit about that? Ain't like he's many millions off of that, but he's helping solve crimes like that.
My dad's actually a forensic scientist. I only realized this fairly recently in life. My dad.
You know, I was gonna say the worst joke there, man, but I thought, you know what, that's unnecessary. This black on black crime needs to stop.
This guy, even that as a pun is flipping terrible, bro. How can I tell you my dad's a forensic scientist and you tell me that black on black crime needs to stop, bro?
I didn't pick up on that. But when you said, I only just realized that. I was like, yeah, but you only just met the nigga, so it's okay.
I mean, but that's the point.
You're gonna learn a lot about that nigga that you don't know. My dad played for the Lakers, really?
But isn't it amazing that I end up being like, I love the crime channel. I mean, you love the crime channel as well, but like I love all of this detective stuff, and it turns out my dad's flipping a professor of forensic science. But anyway, that's not.
Wait. You told me your dad was a professor.
Yeah.
Didn't know he was a forensic scientist.
No, I knew that he studied microbiology because that's where he met my mum. They were doing microbiology, but he, eventually specialized and got into like using his undergraduate and his postgraduate to essentially do more and more research into forensic science.
How did your dad live?
Pardon?
Where did dad live?
He lives in Nigeria now.
He's a forensic scientist.
No. He doesn't teach anymore. He's vice chancellor.
Oh, he teaches. Because I was gonna say, I don't think they're calling your dad in. We got this body and we need your expertise to try and find.
Nah, he doesn't operate as the professor anymore. Now he's the vice chancellor of the university. So more
like that. We got this body and play to it.
Can you imagine they ask, where should we put the body? Hey, I put it on my head. Put it on my head.
Because I'm the one that killed him. Because I'm the killer. Put it on my head because I am the killer. So are you the killer or not?
You're the coroner, man. We're supposed to ask you this question. Hey, I'm the coroner, so does that mean you should come up?
So because I'm the coroner, it means I should know everything. I just asked you about this nigga here. What were you saying before
But yeah, anyway, so I was saying that my when you have a passion for things,
right?
Like you can add value in certain ways that might not be monetized, but they do build up the lives of those around you.
What it is, everybody who got into the music industry, it was a passion, but it quickly became you have to sell records. It quickly became you had to be this personality. And afterwards, they look drained, not because they've not got the money no more, but because you're not hot no more.
Yeah.
They asked you to be this person. Now, no one told you, oh, by the way, there's a 15-year-old kid who can spin on his head. He's going to take all the fame. You understand? And so you're having to deal with that and you get lost in the source. Then you have to keep up appearances because how else are you going to make money? You have to do Strictly Come Dancing. You have to go into the jungle because you're trying to keep your appearances up.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you 100%.
Like I said, it's funny how we started this conversation with Mario. It's where the business meets the artist or meets the creative. The business people want to make money. You want to create.
Yeah.
You get into bed with someone who tells you can make 10 million off of your drawings. The moment you start working for your craft, it doesn't become that passion no more or fun no more. It hurts.
That's very true. And to be honest, I'm somebody who obviously has a foot in both. You know, I'm clearly quite business minded, and that's why I kind of do my day job, and then I create as well. And even understanding both, there's sometimes where there are things that I like even this podcast. Like this for me is something that I would love if this made me enough money and blah 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 all this kind of stuff. But every week when we jump on, it means more to me than actually the money coming in, because I genuinely believe in doing things out of passion, and I genuinely believe that makes people's lives better. And for the few people who contact me and say, "Oh, I love Boys Quarters, man. Why are you guys longing this off, man? Bring it back. You know, when's it dropping again? Blah blah blah." For me, that's flipping fantastic. Now, the value that this brings might not come in the sense of like it's the big Spotify deal and so is getting this many million and blah blah blah, but it might just come from the fact that you know, somebody listening to this is inspired, or this makes somebody's life a bit better, or whatever it is. And I'm saying we need more of that if we're ever going to get the richer, and I'm talking like in terms of like human wealth. If we're gonna get richer stories, richer movies being made, and so on, it can't always be commercially driven. Because if I'm sitting there as a movie investor who doesn't understand you as a black creative, I'm gonna look at what makes money and what's gonna be safe for my money. And if you don't like it, go put your own money up. And you see what happens when we put our own money up. No one respects it because they go, "Well, this wasn't a Hollywood budget," or you know, this is just like one of those hood movies or whatever it is.
And then comes the story. You know, we put his own money up for that.
Exactly.
You know, doing overtime.
Exactly. Until we have that kind of money to put down, we're constantly being, you know, subject to very strict commercial decisions. Now, what happens for some creatives in you know in other parts of the world or in other cultures and so on, there's a bit more wealth behind it, and you know people fund stuff because they genuinely love it and care about it. So if I'm a rich guy and I like Funbi, I'll be like, yo, here's 50 mil. Go make what it is that you need to make because I love what you do, and that's great. But you have to have been you for a period of time. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you can't have been if you had sold, if I want to say sold out, but let's say you, because of the need for money, you had decided you're gonna go make all these like commercial decisions. Now you're making Family Trip to Mars Part 3. I might not know that you've got a very special, unique movie in you that I need to go and fund. And so that it's tough, but we need that called patron of the arts and people who are willing to do stuff for passion.
Talking to Nick, from JCX and Slick.
Yeah.
What upsets him is we don't work together in this country as black creators.
Okay.
Almost competition and cliques, and I was just like, man, we're the first. I would say we're the first ones. It's funny because he said he met. I'm not going to say the comic's name. Actually, I am, because this is a story and not necessarily a dick. I'm not going to say his name. It's interesting. You know this comic name. When I say the story, you know immediately.
Yeah.
Paul Mooney came to England.
Yeah.
Show. And he was, if you know Paul Mooney, you know one thing first of all, he's a dick.
Yeah.
Forget comedy.
Yeah.
As a person, very arrogant, right? Yeah. He's a funny guy. When he came to London, a lot of those comics grew up watching the Paul Mooney.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so they saw him as a, and one went up to him and said, offered a handshake.
Yeah.
I don't do handshakes.
Yeah, I saw that with my own eyes.
Like your own eyes.
Yeah, I saw that moment.
Did you ask for a handshake for Paul Mooney?
No. I asked him to take a picture and sign a book for another comic who had bought his book. He asked me to get it signed for him.
And what did Paul Mooney say?
He said something under his breath that was kind of like, "Oh man," he was just generally kind of grumbling. He signed it, and then when we tried to take the picture, he specifically took the book and held it up so the book was in the picture. So that was it. But it didn't feel like a comfortable exchange. It definitely felt like I was harassing this dude right now.
You felt right. Now, that's just who Paul Mooney is. He's an arsehole.
Yeah.
Some people are more receptive to that kind of stuff.
Wait, are we saying God rest his soul? He's passed, right?
He's dead, yeah.
Yeah. God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. Because I think he's a great comedian, but he's definitely also off the court. And this comedian took offense to it. You understand?
Yeah.
And so, however, it's funny because same comedian, one young gun was, when we were coming up, he was at the comedy club and he went up to this, veteran British comic, and he was like, "Big fan, love what you do and everything. I'll come up watching you. You don't know my name now, but you will eventually," type thing. I get it. Old lion versus young lion. Sometimes that youthful exuberance can make you feel uncomfortable, especially if you're looking at where you are now and you can
Yeah.
see the youthfulness in this guy, and you realize you were that guy one time.
Yeah.
I get it. But he went away, called the guy's manager, who you know as well,
Yeah.
and told him, "You need to talk to the kid. He was doing the most." And he checked him. And I thought, this was a kid who looked up to you, and you took his "I look up to you and you will know my name" as personal. Axel said that to me at the Sunday show. Goes,
Wow.
"Funmbi, what's going on, man?" He said, "Oh, you don't know my name, but you will one day." I was like, "All right, cool." I didn't say, "Man, fuck you, nigga. First off, fuck your bitch and the click, click, click." You know what I mean? And lo and behold, I did know his name, and he's a cool dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's funny how you took that personal with Paul, but you were that same guy to other people.
And do you know what? Yeah, sometimes we don't see it that way until it comes back around. You never envisage the day it happens to you whilst you're still doing it to somebody else. So
And it's not. It was never. It was never about. It was never about the. It's never about the comic or anything. It's about where you are in your career. Because I've seen him at the comedy shows. He was resentful. They didn't care. They took these young guns, and almost created a division. But it was not about these young guns. It's about what are you doing?
I mean, here's the other thing though as well. We don't have a common purpose. We don't have anything we're all working towards. So if we say we're going to collaborate, what is it based on? The color of our skin? Like, is that enough? Because to be
Yeah.
honest,
What did Adam Sandler base their collaboration on?
what Adam Sandler and who
Seth Rogen and the man there.
being Jewish and getting money?
Right.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that that's a common purpose for them.
We do have a common purpose to set up a comedy scene, to set up our voices.
I
To,
don't think I don't think everybody who shares our color and so on has that same vision.
definitely no, absolutely no, 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 no,
That's
no.
what I'm saying. We don't all have the same
Right,
mission. So
right.
for some people, it's like I want to pop off, or for some
Yeah,
people, I want to get girls, or whatever it is. So whilst you might have a vision of like we need to create a scene for ourselves, unless everybody's on that mission, we can't really collaborate. We can't just come together because of the color of our skin. If we like for the color of our skin, we would like to have this for ourselves, then we can all work towards that. Do you see what I'm saying? But and part of it is at the end of the day, I don't think there is that respect for everybody as well. And I'll put my hand up and say that I haven't always had the biggest respect for comedians whose style of comedy I didn't respect, or whose material I didn't respect, or work ethic I didn't respect, or motives I didn't respect. And in some ways I can feel justified, but also, I know there's a certain level of respect you should give people in general. So that could have been my bad in many occasions. But I think that respect is a big part of it as well. I find it really hard. Like sometimes comedian might hit me up and say, "Look, blah blah blah. Can you help me get a gig, for example?" And first thing I want to do is check your material, right? Before I go and say to somebody else, "Can you put this guy on?" I want to see your material. If I don't respect the bars, then it's gonna be really hard for me to put you forward. And then it's like, well, what do I do now? What do I say to you, right? And for you as the young kid coming up,
They didn't say anything.
pardon?
What you do is you say, "Hey, look, man, this guy's trying to come on. Have a check of his material. See, make your decision." That's what you have to do.
Fair play, but at the same time, and this is why I'm saying this is where I may be wrong, because that's you're giving them a certain level of respect. But for me, I'm like I'm worried about attaching my name to something, because if somebody says, "Oh, Ola brought this guy through, or Ola recommended this guy," and the guy they think he's waste, I don't want that to be attached to my name.
Yeah, but you're
I
not.
want it to be a case of if I've even mentioned him to you, then you're like, if Ola mentioned him,
You're not waste. You didn't say. I mean, I'm not. I don't know how you say it. I would never tell a promoter to put anybody on. All I would say is, "Hey, man, this guy wants to be in here. Check out his work." Andy Askins got me into Banana. Like I said to him, I've not played there. I've not played there since Go 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 Go. And he's like, "Oh, I'll talk to him tonight." And by that night, he'd already got me in.
but you don't think that Andy Askin saying that was a sly endorsement of you?
No, because the guy knew I was anyway.
Okay, but I mean, coming from Andy, like, isn't it like if Andy comes and says it to the guy, don't you think that adds some weight to it? Because anybody could come and say to him, "Why haven't you had Funbi on for a while?" But if
Yeah,
Andy
anybody,
goes and says it,
and it would have worked.
you think so?
Yeah. I'm that good.
I know that, but let's be honest here. Let's talk
But
about how human beings work.
who are not good though. No, sorry, no, we're not. We're talking about people who, because trust me, man. Oh, if everybody would just understand that.
Okay, so let me ask you. Yeah, let's say we're booking a show for Sunday service, for example, and so someone comes up to you who is not a comedian, someone off the street, like, oh, you need to book my friend. His name's
My
Mark.
hypothetical's too strong.
What's that?
My hypothetical's too strong. Someone off the street that works in your favor too much.
Okay, no, I'm trying to prove the point about how like when you come as a comedian, it adds weight, right? When you try and when you're like, I'm introducing somebody, and you're a comedian, it adds some weight, and that weight is I trust him because I trust you. I trust you, and you're saying I should
But
check
why
this guy out.
when you know he's not good though?
Pardon?
How would you recommend someone you know is not good?
That's my point. I wouldn't.
Said you shouldn't just say, "Hey, put him on." Just say, "Hey, this guy's interested in playing here. Check out his shit. If you feel it, put him on."
I'm saying even that, even as light as you're trying to keep it.
Here's the thing, though. You don't have to, though. I would. I don't like. Even,
I think you're covering the mic again, by the way.
sorry. Even some of the comics who, the material is very challenging for me sometimes. I see where they're talented, though. I see something in them.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, if I write this, he could probably play that character well or whatever. That's why the level of respect. You're in love with comedy way too much.
And you know what? No, there are people I can recommend who they might not be my cup of tea, but I still feel like they do well. But what I'm saying is there are people who I'm like, I think this is gonna be painful. I think this is gonna be painful for everybody involved. And you know what? I can point you in the direction. I don't think that's the reason to now disrespect you or be mean to you, but I don't even want to. I don't particularly want to be associated at this point.
Well, I mean, it's difficult because I bumped into a couple of comics and they were like, really want to get into the bowl. I was like, I just emailed them, which is what I do. And
you know what I mean because you said that to them.
You know the maddest thing is like, yeah, I've emailed him. He's not responding, and I just went quiet because I was gonna say sometimes it be like that, but then I was like, he responds to me though. I just kept quiet. Said, "Oh yeah," but here's the. I can't even say this on the podcast.
Yeah, bro, we saved that for afterwards. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
the funny thing is, to all the comics who are trying to get on, there's another scene, that you don't know about.
mm-hmm.
So there's the comics who are doing like, just 99s and the top secrets and the comedy stores and, the Glee and the paid gigs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You put a bill up with, you be on there with Sean Walsh or someone like that. Yeah. And then there's that Angel comedy crowd who had the privilege of meeting them because I was judging a roast battle.
Okay.
Murray, and it was a different crowd. And bare of them were comics. And I was just like, you're all comics. And like, oh yeah, but you do the real gigs for me. And I was just like, in that moment, I thought to myself, I can't really bitch and moan for this little circuit thing I got going on.
Bro, yo, when you realize, and I don't know these guys in particular, so I can't speak on them in particular, but there's this whole subset of the industry or of the scene where there are these guys who are basically, I want to say open micers. And the reason why I say this is because you'll see them in a lot of the Facebook groups that are around like comedy, open spots, blah, 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 blah. These men it's like a reality show in and of itself, bro. Because they're involved enough to like have all the conversation, all the clubs, all the blah, 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 but not busy enough to be acting, not busy enough to be getting money so that they're not so jobless online. And the joblessness online, and that is what creates this whole scene in which everyone has so much gossip and drama about each other. and I spent like a few days in a few of these groups because I thought I was actually gonna like pick up on some extra gigs or whatever it was. I realized most of it is just people. It's like a social thing. It's like a social club community, and it's one of the most. Bruh, these men are on a different vibe.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't care that much, man. What are you lot doing?
I mean, my favorite is the post, the Facebook post. Hey guys, trying to think of a title for a new show. Any suggestions? I always tempted to title. I'm always tempted to comment. How about you don't write shit? How about you just quit? Okay,
Bruh.
come on, man. You're just bored.
This is what I'm saying. And I'm
Like,
not saying like obviously I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy at the top so I can be like, look at these waste comics. I'm not talking about somebody who's working on their craft. I'm talking about somebody who's got so involved with the title and the idea and of being part of this like community of comedians who are coming up and so insular that y'all forgot to write any real jokes and
I
like
was like preparing an hour. Any suggestions on how to make an hour? And everyone was like, start, with your club set. Then in the middle have an arc or a story, and then round up with you got to always end strong. I just thought to myself, says you,
bruh,
this
the
is this is me. Right, just me. Write the hour.
you're a douchebag though as well.
It's like no, but it's like what my mum said to me when I was cooking jollof. When I was trying to learn how to cook jollof, I was in Canada and I'm on the phone to my mum, and she gave me all the pointers. And I said, okay, when will I know when it's ready? She goes, when it's ready.
Bruh.
Fair enough, fair enough. Fair enough. And it's just that if you're asking how to write an hour, you have no idea how to do even comedy
Yeah, I mean, and that's the part that upsets me as well. And because
right
it's
now.
like I don't want that to be
That's what kind of destroyed Edinburgh for me as well, because you had agents telling you how to write an hour.
yeah, for real, bro. For
What?
real.
You written an hour before.
I I mean, yeah, and this is where it's hard to like kind of have a standard without seeming like a douchebag, but you know, at some point we have to start telling people like you're not good enough.
We don't have to.
I mean, true, we don't, but in some ways we are. When they don't get booked for a show, you're being told you're not good enough to play my show or whatever. I don't think you're good enough to play my show,
And that's
right?
good.
And and I think that that moment comes in many different forms for different people, right? And that's fine, and that's part of life. But I think
Also,
it's almost like it shouldn't be there. It's almost like people behave like there shouldn't be any moment in which you're told you're not good enough.
the insecurities in some of the comments, in some of the posts, is like, oh, it's funny how the industry works. I'm in the room and everybody's laughing, but I can't get on this, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I feel like there's a generational gap. Like I'm not talking about like age. I'm talking about like comedy wise. There's different generations who people came in together, and I
Mm.
feel like there's a gap between the age when I came in and the age that's coming in now or came in over the past 5 years. So there's that. That's definitely there. But I also just think like there's an element to which the art of really trying to actually be a good comic. And I'm not talking about be seen by other comedians or get onto certain spots or get into pro clubs and blah blah blah. The art of actually trying to be a comic, man, it's almost like it's scarce, bro. People are either trying to, be king of their own little scene or they're trying to, do some kind of entertainment show so that they can sell a tour. But like how many people are actually really out here just doing that comedy thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like really caring about
Uh, Kitson.
your
I'll go over, I'll go over so many people's
To
head.
anybody listen to this, I'm only laughing because I know Funbi is trolling heavily, bro. Funbi is
No,
trolling.
but as soon as I go into the scene, Dave Kitson, he doesn't do anything, just shows up and does a 2 hour set, makes millions. Oh,
Daniel, it's Daniel Kitson, but yeah, I get it.
I was like,
To
oh,
be honest,
right.
yeah, the way the scene talks about Daniel Kitson, you would have thought, like the Jesus of comedy is just in the tomb. He's about to come out in 3 days' time.
Nigga's literally performing to his audience. Literally. Do what everybody else does. I saw a post saying Simon Axel is on tour. I was like, Simon Axel? I ain't seen him in the room. People really be thinking,
Yo,
you know what
I
I mean? And then
mean,
someone come and tell me a story about it. I'm like, nigga.
bruh, I do not. Yeah, I miss good stand up. I haven't enjoyed good stand up for. I mean, I get a Chappelle special once in a while.
Did you watch the Chappelle special?
Yeah. I watched
What do
it,
you think?
bro. I loved it, man.
So, is it at the guru stage, like I said?
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely guru level, bro.
But it was, you know what I'm saying? You know when you read the bus and he ain't throwing fireballs at you. He ain't doing a Doken. You throw a
Nah,
he just teleports. Where did he go?
nah, that was sensei up there,
Oh,
bro.
sensei. You know, I said to my brother, what's going to happen now is you're going to get a generation of comics who think that is how you have to perform in the clubs, and they're not going to be polished. They're not earn the right to be douches, and they're going to go on there, and this is going to be the classic line. You guys not, you guys are not. You're not getting the deepness here. No, bro, it's not spoken word night, nigga.
Bruh, do you know in the next 10 years, like you're gonna have to smack so many legs off the speaker, bro, because people gonna be trying to do that Chappelle cool pose. Like, yeah, no. It's not about the leg on the speaker for you to get stand up, you
Right. It's that, well, right. It's that classic guy in the open mic night. He does a dry house punchline and does the water sip.
know. The way you keep gunning for a man who sip the water.
Nah, when he did that, yeah, I said, bro, to sip water in comedy, you have to earn that. Don't get water, fam. We've all grown up watching the classic comic with the stool in the water, just that punchline. Sometimes they leave with the mic. I used to envy that shit. I used to want to do that. And I see my dude do it on the deadest punchline.
You can't sip water on a dead punchline, man. Don't do
And
that.
bro, he didn't even wait. He turned around on them. And they came back like nothing happened. I said, God, I need that confidence in my life.
Oh man. What's that?
I'm scared to drink water on a good punchline.
Bro, this is what I'm saying. You might lose your whole rhythm.
You
And you have
might
to be
get
very
water
confident.
in your throat.
Bruh.
You might not think you're as cool as you thought you were. You're like, you know what I mean? You try to put the bottle in your mouth, it slips. Oh shit.
You got to have a special level of audacity, bro.
I
Nah,
got
man, that's funny.
I'm learning to slow things down a bit as well. Not necessarily slow things down, but let my words linger. Because a lot of times I try to talk over the laugh.
Mm.
I don't know if that was an insecurity or
Well, I mean, I definitely had the same thing. Like Jason always used to say the same thing to me before when I first started, and I think there is something to be said for that. It's a delicate balance between knowing how to, like how when you're driving and you're going around for a bend and you want to basically switch down a gear and slow down to get around the corner, but you have to time it well so you can pick up speed again. Pardon?
sounds like sexual innuendo, bro.
Anyway, you know what I mean, right?
Going for a bend. Okay.
You're driving a manual, so you want to come down a gear and slow down to take the corner, but you don't want to like stall, right? So you want to basically time it well so that you can pick up speed again and keep on driving, right? In that same way, it's like you may need to slow down for the laugh to land, but knowing not to leave it too long, so you're starting from zero again. You don't want to hit the floor on that laugh. So it's a definitely like a timing thing, and I think it's just the more you're on stage, you build up a. I mean, you've been on stage enough time, so you know these things instinctively, but it can always be fine tuned, man. And it's an amazing thing to see when a comedian knows how to do that timing really well, to just constantly build on the laughs, like let everything accumulate, but at the same time not rush over it, not rush into it too much. There's a confidence in that, man.
I think I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm on a big stage, man.
yeah. You have to let that land. The big stage, you definitely have to let it land.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to use the space. Like, I don't move a lot on stage, especially in the comedy clubs.
Mm.
I'm not physical, but on the big stage, I tend to use it.
Yeah, and that's the Chris Rock thing. He said, you know, if they look at you on a big stage, if they look at a big stage, they're used to seeing an entire production. So if you're gonna be one guy, every time they blink, they need to see you somewhere different, or they need to see you looking
It
different.
was Eddie Murphy that told him that, anyway.
Was it Eddie that told Rock that?
If you stand in one place, they can look over there, but you keep walking up and down, they have to go, oh, this nigga.
Well, that makes sense then. Yeah, yeah. Because
But again, to everybody listening, if you're an aspiring comic, it's not gospel. Because you know, some people just keep, why are you
why are you perambulating, bro?
got to tell jokes too? You can't just, it's not a walking show, bro.
Some man really thought it was the walking, bro. Some man, you're doing lunges on stage.
No, some people have mastered the walking part. He's got the walk. He's definitely got the walk down, but the boss ain't there yet. Mastered the air of that comic. So there's a guy out there now who has Chappelle's cadence, his style, his rhythm, everything, but not the bars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't just walk.
Oh man.
It's like, you know what? It's just gonna sound so cliche. It all has to come naturally. If you're in the moment, if your material is good and you've done this material and you know it, you will know when to move. You will know when to pause. You will know when to pick up. You will
Yeah.
know when to slow it down.
Yeah, man. And I think it also comes from the fact that like when you put in the time on stage, you get comfortable on stage. You get a chance to play around with things, and you might do something one day that like it feels right and it hits how it's supposed to hit. It might be the way you turn around on a punchline, or how you switch where you're looking at, or you know a point that you might do, or whatever it is, and all of these things just come together beautifully. But you discover it from actually putting the time in, and that's why some of these things can't really be taught without you getting out there and just doing it. I think it was last week we were saying that like, or was it last week or was it on a call? I think maybe we were talking on the phone, and you're talking about how for us when we practice, we have to do it in front of the same people we're trying to impress one day. We're not trying to impress, but you get what I mean. Like it's not like a band who gets to rehearse in the garage and then like go out on stage and perform it for everybody. Like we do the rehearsing in front of people, that's obviously what makes comedy so amazing. But it also the reason why you have to be visible. You have to literally be out here in the clubs or on stage in some shape or form, putting in the work. You can't fake it, man.
Can't. You can't. You can't.
Synthesize it. You can't.
You can't not show up for training and expect to suit up for the game.
Yes.
And another thing is, people are so in love with smashing a show. People are so in love with the love that they get from audiences, and it's part of the experience. But I honestly believe I'd say the greatest basketball player, most of the greatest athletes of all time, like your Michael Jordans and your Kobe Bryant. You don't have to be this person. But what I'm trying to say is Kobe Bryant loved practice more than he loved playing that game.
Mm.
Because he knew practice is where he got better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Jordan and them, man, they took practice just as serious as they took the NBA finals.
Yeah.
Because if they go hard in practice, they can't fail on the stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't work on your shooting, if you don't work on your post-up game, how are you going to do it in the game? The same comedy. So I learned to fall in love with the new material nights. And then we started off, the first time I started doing the material nights, I was doing old material. I was flexing on them. And I'd leave the show and everyone's thinking, you're a good material. You're a good comic. But my ego would tell me, yeah, of course you're a good comic if you keep doing old material.
Yeah.
You're going to learn with old material. Go out there and do new material. And that's when you start to realize who you are as a comic. If you've really got the stomach for it, to work out a routine, to try and find new jokes, because it's not easy.
You're right, and to be honest, I know I need to do more of it. I remember there was definitely a time when I was just doing comedy full time, and I would have a great show, and I'd have this really big low afterwards on the way home because I know that, you know, when the material's peaking like this, it really is just a reminder that you need to go again. Like you need to write again, and it needs to get better than this, and you're starting from scratch again. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of the jokes, obviously you've got the skills and whatnot that build on each other, but like you can't keep living off of the glory of this one joke. You can't show up at another gig and tell them like, hey, you should have seen material I used to have, man. Now you material used to pop off. Like they want to see which material you got now, and it needs to pop off. So there's definitely a big sense to which if you really care about the comedy and the longevity of what you're doing, man, you do need to sort of get out of your own way and like disassociate yourself from constantly appearing successful and actually be willing to be vulnerable and be adventurous and take risks and so on. And that's the reason why I don't really ever give comics a hard time when they get it completely wrong. I don't give them a hard time. I recognize that there's a big part of getting it wrong that needs to happen, even when it's so spectacularly wrong. That was it. Chappelle said about Michael Richards. He said, like he's black and a comedian, and it's like the black side of him was like, this is racist, blah blah blah. How can this guy say this? But the comedian was like, niggas having a bad set. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can look.
I've been there. Hang in there.
You get him on the next one.
That's
There's
a
gonna be a next one. You know what I'm saying? But I can look at a guy shouting racist abuse at an audience member and still feel like, man, he's having a bad set. Like I can still, because I know that in the same that bad jokes and good jokes come from the same place.
No, they don't.
I think so. I think I think bad jokes and good jokes come from the same place.
Or would they come with the same intentions?
Not always. No, not always with the same intentions. But I think a brain that is open and curious can easily come out
What's a
with the
bad joke?
groundbreaking. What's that?
What's a bad joke? Is it like a joke that's not funny, or a bad joke in the sense where it's like, oh man, that's cold.
I mean, a bad joke is.
It's not a good joke. It's just terrible.
I think a bad like when I say bad joke, I mean something that just doesn't land how you wanted it to land. I think it often comes from the same place
What
as
joke do
the
you
jokes
have
that do land.
that you think is a bad joke or it didn't land the way you wanted it to?
Which joke do I have? Um, I mean, there's this one joke that hasn't I still haven't got it. It's gotten better. I've tweaked and tweaked. It's gotten better. But I have this joke about how I don't trust the elderly, right? Because I say that I don't believe that sticking around on Earth for a long time doesn't necessarily make you a good person, and that the structure of the joke is um, every so often like we venerate the elderly to the point like they're all saints. Like every so often we bring out an old person onto morning TV and ask them what's the secret to long life, and they always give some variant of alcohol as the answer. It's always like I have a shot of whiskey every day or a glass of wine with every meal, but they never mention the time they watched a little boy drown because they didn't want to mess up their living streak, right? That there's people in your generation who died fighting for justice. Meanwhile, you're still alive. Whose side were you on? So the idea is that simply being old doesn't mean you're a good person. Like there's many reasons why you could still be alive. In fact, sometimes the good die young. That's the general premise of the joke, right? And I've done this joke in different ways and so on. Like I've tweaked it. I know that definitely, like saying little boy drown is funnier than saying little girl drown. People are much more comfortable with that. I know that you have to give the joke in stages. You have to seem a bit more cheeky. You can't say it too straight faced. I know all these different things about it, but the joke never quite. I feel like there's still a barrier that I haven't
I
crossed
think
with
it's
that
an
joke.
interesting observation as opposed to a funny line.
I maybe it's just not as strong a bit as I think it is, but I really think that there's something there that needs to be said. I really think that like if I got that joke right, it could be something that people quote in that situation where somebody's going, "Oh, such an angel! Look how old they are! Oh, look at this cute couple. They're so old," and then they might be like, "But sticking around a long time doesn't mean that they're good." You know what I'm saying? Like that bit could be formative, but I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't cracked the code on that joke.
You have to find the funny in it.
Pardon?
You have to find the funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I've got laughs from the joke. Don't get me wrong. I can get the punchlines out, but it's not. There's something missing with that joke. And I know that saying something like that comes from the same place as the jokes that I've done that bang everywhere, and I'm like, oh, this is a strong joke, blah blah blah. And the first time I said that joke, when it didn't really land how I wanted it to, and it got very few laughs. I'm not upset at myself because I know that it just comes from the same place. That's all I can describe it as.
Well, it's funny because I was doing new material on Tuesday, and I'm doing a joke about protecting the when those black boys missed a penalty.
Yeah.
We need to protect these kings, and I was like, what are we protecting them from? I said the only protection those guys need is condoms. From what the people they're gonna get while they're on holiday. Nothing. Just been quiet. It was almost uncomfortable. And I feel like white people don't know if they can laugh at me not agreeing with the status quo. So if I come and say, I'm not taking these anyway, they'll be like, oh shit. Sorry, we thought it was okay, what's this going? And so they don't see that I'm not necessarily I'm questioning motives.
Yeah.
I'm questioning where society just bandwagons.
But you know what it is as well? I think that when you tell a joke like that, right? I know you in terms of your voice to be a contrarian, right? So I know that any kind of popular narrative, you're pretty much going to question it at some point. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that they always know who you are when you are doing that joke, that kind of joke. So the shorthand is if a black comedian comes
behind it.
What's that? Sorry?
So the black guy is definitely going to be behind it.
Exactly. The shorthand is if I see a black comedian on stage, I'm going to hear some kind of joke that references how racism has affected black people, right? So when you do a joke, for example, when you do something like the police one, where they say, oh, tell your mates we're not all so bad, and you're like, why don't you tell your mates we're not all so bad?
They love that moment.
Yes, they love that because that's the shorthand. We get it. Like, the police don't have a good relationship with black people. They profile black people, blah, 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 blah. We get that one. But the idea of you now seeing a narrative like, you know, look at the terrible racism for these footballers, and you're on the other side now, they're like...
I'm on the other side. I'm just saying it's not that deep.
Yeah, even that is very, very unsettling.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling because we don't know where to put you now. Like, for some black for some black people, let's say some black people are watching you and they don't know where to put you. They could quite easily say, maybe he's one of those kind of like Candace Owen kind of ones who's like, yeah, you know, black people need to just shut up and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And I know that's not exactly you either. I just know that it's a matter of you're going to come at this with... And I don't think you've been fully given the individuality, but you haven't, at the same time, you haven't fully taken the individuality yet, such that everybody knows who Funmbi is and what Funmbi is going to do with a topic. And that's going to come with, as people hear more of you and then they see your stuff, they know that, Funmbi's going to question this.
Even a line about Brexit where I say, and I feel bad the Polish have to go, man, because they're good people, they work hard. People freeze up. And they don't get what I mean there. But this is the beauty of what that moment has.
Yeah.
Us minorities looking bad for a minute because we were chilling before they came. They don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Minorities get that because they're like, it's so true. Because before the Polish came, we thought it was all good. Next thing, these motherfuckers were taking our jobs, doing all the cleaning work, working harder than we were. We started feeling friends.
But this is one of those times where having long form specials is really, really key because that's when we get to know you, right? In terms of as a comedian, the 10-minute slots and the whatever, those slots are to prove you're funny. The 20 minutes are when we want a show, but then the hours is where we get to know you, right? And so the more you put out hours, I think the more people are gonna be like, oh, we know Fums.
I'm that nigga that should have graduated from high school, but I'm still in class talking about, you know, I'm not single.
But also, I tell you what, the podcast is also a good example of how people get to know you long form, right? So by the time they hear your stand up, there's so much context. Yeah. And like if let's say a lot of the people who were in the comedy clubs were also listening to you on podcasts, I think that would give them the context to really see why a lot of the stuff you say is way more funny than they give it credit for. But I obviously get to laugh all the time when I listen to you because I've got to know you over a period of time. So when you say something, like, I said at the beginning where I was tensing up because I was expecting a genuine line to come in. And that's because obviously I've done this podcast with you now.
The worst part, yeah, I had Gino in my head. I feel so offended. Y'all think I just be attacking Genuine on the podcast? You were hoping I was taking it to Genuine secretly. You were hoping I was taking it.
No, to be honest, like whilst I love to back away from it, I enjoy it, man. It's funny. It's not funny.
It's how I always linked it back to Genuine. It made it seem as if I don't like to, but I do.
I know, that's the thing. That's what makes it so funny. Because if you genuinely didn't like Genuine, then it would be like, oh, that's mean. Now, why are you doing this?
Why would you? Yeah.
Yeah, but like because I know you genuinely do, but somehow it's always a case of like, hey, this is R. Kelly we're talking about. This ain't no damn Genuine. Genuine can't do that. Like whenever you say that, it's like, oh man, bloody, why is Genuine taking all these strays?
If you were a judge and they brought R. Kelly and Genuine, and they say one of them touched an underage girl and whose lyrics are you gonna think it was? Pony, my saddle, or I am the mountain, I am a hero. You're not gonna suspect that dude.
Nah, but I would suspect if I knew that he wrote AJ Nothing But a Number.
But you know the maddest thing about that song? I don't even know what that song means. Oh, I do know. I thought the lyrics. But here's the thing: everybody trying to pin any new R. Kelly. Oh, he was talking about a 10-year-old there. Don't nobody know that.
Okay, but bruh, come on now. Like in the context now.
He didn't write his lyrics because he couldn't read. Apparently, he can't read or write. I know that nigga lying, but apparently he can't read or write.
He can't read too good, but he writes songs, man.
He doesn't write. He said he can't read or write. He doesn't write good. He probably puts his that nigga. You know the nigga on the updating their status, trying to take shots at people, but the grammar's all over the place. When he's not coming home, it's like he's baby, not his. I think that's what R. Kelly does. So if you wrote bump and grind, it'll probably be bump and grind. I don't probably CEE maybe. C maybe no, I don't see. Probably play SEA. I don't see nothing.
You ain't right.
Nigga put SEA. I don't see. Like the ocean. No, I just see. Oh, my bad. That's R. Kelly's reading writing level.
Oh,
I don't think all his lyrics were motivated by, the crimes he's being charged for.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, with him, like, there's reasons to suspect him anyway. But I get your point anyway. And yeah, I was just saying in terms of it's fun to. And shout out to Michael as well. He tagged us in the happy birthday post to Genuine because I guess we just wanted to.
I was very 51. I didn't know the homie was 51.
I know, neither did I, man. But you were very respectful. You were like, "Happy birthday to the OG." I was like, "The OG, yeah." You ain't never referred to Genuine as the OG.
He's an R&B OG, man. He did his thing.
He did. He put in work.
When you hear me, maybe the abs is what he was selling. He wasn't selling records. He was selling abs.
He was selling vibes, man. Come on, man. You can't tell me you enjoy. You weren't buying abs, and I'm sure you've enjoyed the Genuine tune.
By the way, understand, I'm an R&B guy. Genuine does, if I only got one chance to love you. I like that shit. The lyrics are, I'm gonna, what did he say? I'm gonna do it like a grown man ought to do. Then he said, just call me Jordan fourth quarter in 92.
Yeah, bro, that bar still hurts me till today. Ever since you told me about that on the pod, and you brought that up. Oh, that's still funny till today, bro.
Can you imagine trying to win your lady over? Just call me Jordan fourth quarter in 92, nigga. What? I was born in 93. Also, Google this shit. Jordan fourth quarter in 92. You know the worst part? He didn't even specify the game, which you might have to watch the whole season. Jordan wasn't even pulling up in the fourth quarter like that.
Oh man.
That's the difference. And that's what I was just trying to explain, the difference in the metaphors or the similes. R. Kelly with if I could explain the joy I feel, his similes were, like a mountaintop from the bottom up. like making love to someone you love, like a work of art when it's unveiled. Those were tapping into beautiful things. Whereas Junior would have been like when I buy those teams with the rims on the 24, you're like,
Oh man, no, we don't need. We need to stop this. Somehow. I know I'm the one that instigated it today, but yeah,
Junior's not pedo, so we fuck with Junior.
yeah, man. Much love to Genuine, man. Much love, man.
Have you seen Fat Joe's YouTube channel?
I haven't. No, I've seen clips of him on.
You could say to Fat Joe, "Yo, my money, what's up, man? What's going on, Ty? You good? Good, man. So tell me how you got the album soundtrack." Oh, so I was working Dr. Dre. Whoa, hold on. You gotta hold on there. It's like, my nigga. What? How did you get the new Rolex? My wife left for quick. Hold on. Christmas? Wait. Guy will hype up. He probably knows as well. But he was just
Of course, bro. I don't know why, like, being from New York, you have to be that loud. Yeah. But there's got to be a reason for it, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand why you have to be that loud.
Oh, I'm gonna do that character story that you told me to. I'm gonna shoot him because it's like everybody tells the story the same way. Like, how did you get Baby Boy? Have you seen Tyrese talk?
Yeah, I've seen talk.
Tyrese loves himself. You understand? And he feels he's way too deep for you know what I mean? It was like John wrote Baby Boy for Tupac. That's when Fingy just jumped out. Whoa. He wrote Baby Boy for Tupac? And it's like he wrote Justice and Tupac was in it. It's not like, but love Fat Joe, he gassed it up. And then Tyrese was just like, yeah, because I'm from Watts, I'm a real nigga. He saw the comparisons.
Are you serious? Tyrese said this.
He said not that he was comparing me to Pac, he said you remind me of Pac. I'm from Watts, I was, man. And I go what he was saying, but it's the way they tell the stories. They always have to go back to 84. Remember them drinks they had in the strip clubs? Remember that? Right, you had to get right. See, most of it's going for the front now. Back then in 84, remember that? You have to go in for the right. Right.
Bro, it reminds me of when you're talking about them DJ Vlad interviews where they ask people about what it was like to do the song with Pac. He was like, hey, so what had happened was
the best one,
my nigga Mookie Mook, he had actually just got off the phone with Pac's beautician, the guy who did his pedicures. You know what I'm saying? He would like pass the phone to Pac, like say where you gonna pass the phone to Pac. He like, Pac on the phone right now. He come on the phone, he like, hey yo, this Pac. I'm like, this Pac? Yup, this really Pac right now? He like, yeah, this Pac. West Side. And I'm like, oh, that's what I knew was Pac. So I had told Pac I got this verse. It go ba ba da ba 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 ba. The whole flow was different. You know what I'm saying? Pac was like, hey, drop that on the demo. Drop that off at the studio, and I'm gonna be right round there. I walk into the studio. Guess who in the studio? My man Mookie Mook, who was supposed to put me on with Pac. He was in the studio. I'm like, yo, where is this story going, my guy? Yeah. Where is this going? And why are you talking about all your guys like we're supposed to know who Mookie Mook was?
No, the best one's when they say their governments, though. It's like, when they're like, oh, how'd you get on that song with Biggie? And they're like, oh, my man Tyrone James. Tyrone? Right, he used to have the street team. Right. So he was like, I know this cat from Brooklyn, Wooty Woo. I'll talk to him. And he called me like 4 days later. Yo, I'm big right now. I'm like, what? I'm big right now. And so I hop on the L train to Harlem because I was in the Bronx at the time.
All these mad details, bro. And that's when I stopped over, got the dollar slice from Mickey's Pizzeria, because everybody used to go there. Everybody used to go to Mickey's Pizzeria.
Yeah, it has to be that it was always a club. The Tunnel, remember the Tunnel back in '86? Right, niggas used to get shot in the tunnel.
No, do you know what's funny is when they try to check the interviewer to see you weren't really round back then. I don't think that was really your time. This is before you went to the. I was like,
if you're from the West Coast and you're talking to them, they're like, in New York they had these joints. You always talk about over in New York we had these joints. Warren G was talking about how he did my definition of a thug nigga with Tupac.
yeah,
and he said one of his girls knew one girl he knew Tupac, and so she gave him the phone number, and so Pac called him. It's like, yo, it's Tupac. He goes, yeah, motherfuckers, yeah, right, it's Tupac. You think it's Tupac? He was like, for real? So yeah, he wants to come down to the studio. We do a beat. So I said, all right. So I got my music, got my drum machine, everything, and I went to get my Glock. I was like, yo, Glock. Because he said he wasn't sure what kind of situation he was going into. He just came strapped.
Mad.
And if you see, I don't know if you've ever seen the freestyle where he's freestyling in the studio with Warren G, with Tupac, Big Syke, and Richie Rich.
Oh, no, I've never seen that.
Young Warren G in the background just freestyling with them and Tupac.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's sometimes you see the story, but if you see the outcome, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't wait till we tell them stories, man. What had happened was I used to do a show back in the day. It was called Oh Sugar.
Remember Babatunde, that cat Babatunde? Oh, those cats that are falling off that we don't know no more. Remember I used to have the him.
You know what I'm saying? And he used to do the joke about the you know I'm talking about. You know the dude.
I was watching a podcast, and it's about the NBA players. So you have like all these legends like Magic Johnson, all these people sitting down, and they were like, who was the player that used to always just get on your last nerve, that you just couldn't stop? And none of them mentioned stars. It was one random journey guy. Like, the nigga had the pull-up layup, you just couldn't stop it. They always told how when they were playing that person, they'll come in charged in it after he makes 2 buckets because they're the senior players. Yo, my man, you guard this guy. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't want to look bad that night. So you just realize. And they even asked that. They asked Kobe Bryant, who was the first one to bust your ass? That's what the question is. I was like, pause, because pause. But he was like, Van Exel used to destroy him. Jay-Z quoted Van Exel. And he was like, every time he tried to get the ball, he said, don't reach. You reach, I teach.
But it goes to show you, man, the game's different from the court. You know what I'm saying? You watch from the outside, all you see is Kobe and Jordan and so on. But those guys on the court, they know who the real...
Yeah. You forget that there's some people that know the game. Like, you're the superstar, but when you come against me, I'm going to bring that superstar out.
Yeah.
Like Kenya Martin, he was like, who was the hardest person you had to guard? Listen, that Bean, that nigga Bean, they call him Kobe Bean.
Okay.
Kobe Bean Bryant.
Okay.
So they call him Kobe Bean sometimes. But that nigga Bean, he said, you don't try and stop Kobe because he's just gonna do what he wants. But my thing was there's certain shots he's not gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So how some of those cats fall for the fall away jumper and all of that. You ain't gonna do that to me. Every shot you're gonna make me, if you make it, it's gonna be a tussle underarm. That's you know? So
yeah.
To see when and even football players as well do the same thing. Like they were asking Messi who his inspiration was. I mean, you hear these players, you have to Google them. This nigga. Him? Damn, he didn't even make it. The person who inspires you is completely different from, you know what I mean, what we think.
Yeah. I mean, who are some of the lesser known comedians that inspired you?
Earthquake, for me. One time I watched Earthquake here, and I had my stomach was hurting. The constant knocking out rate. Now he's been doing the set for a while, but he put it together that day, and I just said to myself, "Damn, this guy is good." Him, Brian Regan, who is a famous comic, but won't be known on the tips of people's tongues.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this on the pod. He is just as good as the Seinfelds, the Chappelles, and the Rocks and the Patrice O'Neills when it comes to stand-up comedy. He has mastered his art.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. Pardon?
You've seen Brian Regan's performance.
I have. Someone else was like, I had another comic friend who was like, "Nah, you need to watch Brian Regan, especially because he's clean as well."
No, forget that. Fuck all that. I
I
know
know,
that.
I know, but that's the reason why he was recommending him to me. But the
Right,
whole
right,
point
right.
was like, yo, this isn't one of them ones where it's like, he's good for a clean comic or
Yeah,
whatever it is. He was
yeah,
just
yeah.
a solid comic.
Yo, Ola,
Solid.
the ideas he came up with and how he
Yeah.
executed them.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. It's got nothing
Yeah.
to do with race, nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with whatever. This is just he has a funny outlook.
Yeah.
He's performing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the mundane things that he comes up with. He said when I was driving one time on the freeway, I looked over and there was this, like a trailer next to me, and on the back of it, he said, "Be careful, show horses." That was what was on the trailer. And he said, I was like, oh, because he does this little, that stupid voice.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, I better drive safely. They have a show to do.
Oh man, I love that kind of stuff, man.
Honestly. Or when one time he said, whenever you watch the NBA, like, and the team wins a championship, the opposing team, when they do the interviews, they always say stuff like, you got to give the team a lot of credit for what they came out tonight. And he said, I wonder if that gets back to the locker room. Like someone just runs in. They're giving us a lot of credit out there. If it wasn't for the balloons and the champagne and the confetti coming down, I would have got her sooner. Because you do hear it. It's like what we said. This discussion needs to be had. And that's what I'm trying to do with that kind of comedy.
Oh man.
People just say these things. You got to give the other team a lot of credit. They just lost the championship. What credit? Fuck you, man. Just carry your championship and go. You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you.
I love taking nothing from nothing and bringing this wonderful outlook to it. I love it.
Yeah. I think for me, my lesser known one who really inspired me is Greer Barnes. And
Okay.
yeah, being able to spend time with him and watch him live, dude is mad funny. And not
When
only
you said the line about the African bees more aggressive, oh, y'all just gonna sneak racism in like that?
that. Nah, he's got some dumb lines in there as well. But
I love
that,
dumb lines. People don't respect dumb lines in comedy.
nah, to be, you need them. You need them, man.
Dumb lines. Like
Yeah.
when Teddy Taylor did the joke about Obama's son, because you can't even have your own little construction come in. Oh, this construction. Dumb line.
It's true, man. It's true. You need them dumb lines, man.
Dumb lines. Like what's Chappelle's dumb line? It's just one.
Um,
Said it.
I think for me, I mean, one of them that was really dumb was,
No, for me, his dumb line is word.
bro. That word is the thing that made me want to do stand up, bro.
Bro,
I saw him say word, and I was like,
when he first started it, I picked up on it, but I don't think people understood. When he started doing it, it's like he'll say something profound. Word. It's never after something profound. It's after something stupid, and they're like, word.
oh man,
Oh, that shit makes me laugh all the time. I love dumb lines.
for real, man, bro. It's a shame to have to do this at this point because it's actually going really well, but I actually need to go.
You're kind of like you need permission or something.
Nah, but I want us to wrap up and like we're in a good flow. So
Oh, no, we pretty much wrap up. When we start talking about comedy in this detail, that's when the pundits are like, wrap up.
that's when the big drop off is. That's when the people really care about the boys got to stick on.
How long have we been on?
It's been about an hour and a half or so.
Okay.
Anyway, man, do you know what? Either way, shout out to the BQ squad listening to the BQ pod. Appreciate all of you guys. Please make sure you continue to hit us up on socials. At Funmbi Omataya on Insta, at Funmbi on Twitter, at Ola the Comedian on everything. That's on Neighborhood.
It's on Crip.
All right, so you guys make sure you continue to interact with us. Thank you to you guys who tagged us and stuff and so on. And if you're enjoying the pod, please do let somebody know who you think would enjoy it as well. Share it and yeah, we'll be back again next week. Peace.
Peace. All right, man.